Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Hello, happy Friday, good evening, and wonderful weekend to all of you out there. Hello, fam. How is it on this beautiful Friday? So good to see you all here today. Hey.
Hello.
Oh, look at that. 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 Welcome in. Hello, Allison. Hello, Anodian. Welcome in, Potato, Nebby, Bestie.
Hello.
There. Oh, yeah. Sounds really good. And there's Stacy.
You liking that voice?
It'd be hitting.
Is it giving the tingles?
I'm not going to go there.
That would be creepy. You're my sister.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Hello, Stacy.
Hello, Stacy. Hello.
Hey,
hello,
Jedi. Hey, Allie.
Hey. All right, I'm going to move this just a little bit closer.
Hello, Allison. How are you? Great to see
Wrong
you.
trigger.
I was having a great conversation with Squid in Titans Live.
Oh, really?
Thank you, Christina.
It was the best conversation I have had with that gentleman in a long time. Hello, Care Bear.
Welcome in, Care Bear. Hello, Opie. Make sure you guys hit the share, hit the likes as much as you guys can. Let's get it out there. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah. So here we are. It's a beautiful, fucking fabulous Friday. This is episode 3 on our podcast of Hot Take News. Live with myself, Allison. Then we have Jedi and Stacy. You've seen them around. This is our fam. We have Phoebe. She might be in a little bit later tonight, but yeah. So if she shows, she shows. If she doesn't, she doesn't. That's all good. We know that family does sometimes have precedence at what we're doing. Where did I want to go? Oh, I'm going to do a little bit of the announcements first and foremost for everybody that's listening. We want to say thank you so much for all of the support that you've shown in the first 2 episodes, the amount of streams that people have been hitting up on our Spotify, our Apple, and our YouTube. Couldn't say thank you enough for that. It's definitely very much appreciated. We want to let you know tonight's episode is going to be the last live stream technically here on TikTok. We will be moving over to a newer platform called EVMux, which will then allow me to record them and put them up on our actual podcast channel, which is on YouTube, and then co-streams and records them automatically into Spotify and Apple. We'll be doing that on episode 4 to see how it goes. For those of you who don't know, this is our podcast. We have a link tree in our bios. You can go out and subscribe to all of your services that play the podcast. In case you can't make tonight's or any of our episodes, they are published there. You can listen to them on your own time, anytime you like. So make sure you hit the link tree inside of any one of our bios. Click on the thing, hit your subscribe. And then we also have a link to the Discord if you want to jump in our Discord to know when we're going live and notifications in regards to that. So look for those announcements in the future as we do what we're doing. So yeah, we hope to get everybody over to the YouTube live run of it. I think I'm going to do a test on Wednesday to see how it goes, just to see if we get what we did. Normally, you're not allowed to get your YouTube live access, but because we're a podcast and I provided access to the previous runs that we've done, they are fast forwarding our ability to go live with very low engagement already. But
Nice.
So that's our announcement for the future for any of you that. Thank you. That was really pretty. Look at that gift. Holy shit.
That was fancy.
That was
that
fancy.
is beautiful.
That looked like Professor Sprout.
Yeah, it did. So
Right?
make sure you look and watch the channel, subscribe, hit the like, all that kind of stuff. Last announcement before we get into our topic for the day, which is part 2, understanding medical studies and the science behind them. and talking about some of the stuff that we left off on our last episode last Friday. Many of you know that I have been, how do I say this? Battling with a dysphoria of my hair. Oh, look at that one. Oh my goodness. They come up on my screen and they're so huge and pretty. Look, I got a cake. Distraction. Yeah, thank you, Nebby. Yeah, professional. We're trying to make this as clean as possible. I've been struggling with my hair for a long time, and I really got frustrated with it, and I've had a shaved head for quite some time, probably a month now, thanks to Jedi down there and my wife, Corey, who is upstairs. But recently I decided to do something different, and I wanted to share it with all of y'all. Stacy, sister over there, Jedi brother over there, Christina, bestie, and the thing, they've all seen it. But I'm going to share it with you guys so you guys can tell me what you think. And I feel like I look very, very pretty. So, but that's just me. I may be biased.
It looks so good.
You look absolutely fabulous, Allie.
Thank you. We went for straight bald. Like all the
It
way
looks
down
so
to
good.
all the way down to the skin. I've been using my one razor to put it through and make it look really clean, and I feel fantastic. I loved it when I didn't have to worry about any. Thank you, David. I was really nervous if I would pull off the bald look like all over my head, but I got a lot of support for it, and then like it happened, and I went and looked in the mirror, and my wife looked at me and she's like, "How do you feel about it?" And I said, I almost love it more, to be honest with you. Like,
Yeah, I think you look more feminine. It's beautiful.
yeah. So, hello, Mika. Yeah, go ahead.
You pull that off amazingly.
Thank you. Oh, Nebby says, "Is somebody a big fan of straight razors and smooth heads?" I love it. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it looks great.
So today's topic, I'm going to turn it over to the introductions. You already know who I am. Thank you so much for all your guys' support, the amount of love that you guys have shown every time I go live and I do this podcast with my great family here, Stacy and Jedi and Phoebe as the hosts as well, and all of the supporters like Anodi and Christina, Allison, Nebby, Care Bear, David, Maya Angelou, Mojica, Mercury, Jess, all of you that are in, I really, really appreciate all of you more than I can say. And I'll go ahead and turn over the Friday welcomes by Stacy and Jedi, and we'll go ahead and get started.
Hey, everybody. I don't think I truly need to do this whole introduction deal, but yes, I am Stacy. I am one of the hosts here. I am the one that goes through all the different laws, looking up a whole bunch of different other things. I have my wife that helps me out with medical stuff whenever we go to those topics like we are in tonight. And I'm able to sit down and truly look through all this different stuff. Now, I'm going to pass it on down to my other co-host here, Jedi.
Hey, everybody. I probably don't need an introduction either. Everybody knows me on this app. I am your local intersex trans man. You will find me in lives like this one, my own, on Stacy's, on Allie's, and you will also find me in Titan and Ash's live. If you were watching me a little bit ago, that was literally me in Titan's live. I am the person who is the history buff, the religious buff, and the intersex buff. I mean, I've been part of 35 studies, and I just like sharing my knowledge with everybody, and I couldn't ask for better co-hosts. Take it away, Allie.
All right. So, in a small recap of one of the things that we were talking about, more importantly, we talk about really important topics in every one of our podcasts. So I don't want to diminish that perspective of what I'm referencing here. But last week we were on our topic of, hold on, we have a gift goal thing. Let me
Put that bad boy up.
Let me put that back up.
Yeah.
Let's help this podcast keep going.
Anodian. Wow, hitting level 20 there.
I know, right? Jeez, Anodian.
Wow, they changed it.
Did they really?
Yeah, they changed the way that the interface allows me to set. Okay, let's do.
Oh, you're over there on Live Studio, though.
Yeah. How do I add one of those? Where did that go? Oh, so they moved everything.
Interesting.
There they go. Okay. Set up new goal. There's that one. Okay, edit that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, share, follow, subscribe, do all of those things.
Play the entire TikTok video game.
Yeah. Also, everybody, do us a favor real quick. Everybody type out FYP, hashtag FYP. Let's get this out to the masses.
Yes.
Okay, so hey AJ, nice to see you. Hey
AJ.
Mandy, good to see you. First time in here. Welcome in, Mandy. This is our podcast. We are Hot Take News. We do this every Friday, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 Central, 8 Eastern. So if you don't catch it live, you can always check us out on Apple Podcasts, which also pushes into iTunes. We are on Spotify and we are on YouTube podcasts. So feel free. We have our link tree in the bios of all of our profiles, and you can subscribe and get access and listen to them on your own time if you don't catch tonight's. So, but as I was saying, now that we got the gift goals and we've got live goals and things like that, our topic tonight is a carryover from understanding the medical studies and the science behind them. Last week, we touched on the necessary aspects of understanding and interpreting the data that you are presented with when we talk about some of the more influential topics that we have that are in our backgrounds, why that science matters, but more importantly, how to interpret the data, the difference between meta-analysis and systemic review, understanding where each one is applicable, also understanding the difference between why a collaborative type of study could be required, whether it's a combination of meta-analysis at first and then bringing in systematic review to understand different hypotheses that have been posited during the meta-analysis gathering perspective, all the quantitative data. So last week we talked about that aspect, right? Like meta-analysis is all the quantitative information. And systematic is going through the hypotheses and eliminating logic or including logic and finding out supportive statements and documents and all of these different things, right? And why they're applicable. And one of the things at the end of last week's podcast, episode number 2, that we were talking about was where do we go once we have the information? How do we process it? How do we interpret it? How do you utilize this to substantiate discussions and complex conversations? How do you take that data and transform it into layman's perspective for individuals, right? Like, because sometimes they're not going to understand the scientific perspective. So you got to figure out how to, quote unquote, I hate to say it, dumb it down. But, it's dismissive when you say it like that, but it's a fact, right? Like, you have to understand how we can bring our knowing the temperature of the room to help them understand what you're presenting to them. What else is there that has to go with it? We have some of the information from Phoebe, who is not here right now, but might be a little bit later, from what they call VAERS analysis. And what it is a reporting site that takes a look at the public data and adverse events that are related to different aspects of statistical and meta-analysis reporting and studies, like pathology, comorbidity, things like that. And this VAERS analysis website particularly really relates to the COVID-19 vaccine. And that's some really interesting information to understand about what it does. Like, I'm going through some of the stuff with regards to the SAGE journal. Pathology.org, which talks about gene-based COVID-19 vaccines, the perspectives in a corporate and global context. They've got VAERS records from Healthy Under 40 category, CDC VAERS safety signal documentation. There's a multitude of different things in here that you can understand about the interpretation of that data, like reports. This is intense. And this is important to understand. Like, this gives you clear understanding of like what was being tested, who was being put into the control group, test subjects, methodologies, and what the findings were. What are your guys' thoughts?
Ladies first. You're muted, Stace.
Stacy is muted, maybe.
Give me just a second. I've got technical difficulties or whatever.
Oh, there you go. We hear you.
Okay.
We hear you.
I love it. We have technical difficulties.
Yeah, we do. So here's my thing. So I just had this interaction, right, in Titans Live, where, you know, what I perceived as someone who was uneducated on the subjects of studies and real world knowledge, I actually was shocked to find out that how they were using verbiage wasn't actually what they meant. And I think a lot of the time when we're talking to people and educating people, we need to dumb it down, but we also need to dive deeper into their definitions of things and what those words actually mean to them. So where I had a conversation where someone was calling something a mental illness, they didn't actually mean it was like an illness. They just meant it as their brain developed differently. And so I think that when we talk to people about studies and facts and PMIDs, I think that we need to do a better deep dive into their understanding of particular verbiage and what it actually means to them so that we can get to the root cause of what they're misunderstanding about actual data.
Exactly. And I think, too, you know, prior to me getting ready tonight, I happened to stumble into one of the, I don't know how to say this, but one of the shittier pieces of opposition within our camp and community that I don't really ascribe to the rhetoric and the shit that they spout. And I happened to hear them make a audacious statement that was just wild to me. And they said to their whole entire group of 244 viewers at the time, while I'm lurking in the shadows, that 96.8% of all trans women are just cis heterosexual men dressing up in clothing and announcing that they're women. So let that process for a second. 96.8% of all transgender women are cis hetero men playing dress up. And I said, okay, I'm thinking to myself, and then somebody challenged her on this and said, where do you get your statistics? And she goes, it doesn't matter where I got the statistics. Typical answer that comes out of this person's mouth all the time. And she's like, but the statistics just say it. The statistics just say it. Okay. If the
What
statistics,
stats?
what stats? Where do you find that? And then it's a very specific number. So where did you pull it from? And then more importantly, what part of the data were you analyzing? Which control group? Which, you know, it just blew my mind that something so audacious would come out of their mouth in regards to that for somebody who I've battled 3 or 4 different times and is a strict numbers human. Like, every time I battle with that person, I would always go into this source with this report with this amount of numbers and with these facts, right? It always relevated into every point with that kind of contention, and I'd counter, but that's irrelevant to the discussion. But the point is where's the interpretation and the falsification of the data that you're reading? Why are you conflating based on what the numbers say and then trying to appropriate it to your narrative, right? Like, statistics and studies are not misinterpreted unless you lack the education. And I'm not saying that people are dumb just because I want to say you're dumb. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that, like, you can't take a look at medical reports and medical studies and take a look at the statistics and the findings and then rip the whole entire narrative to fit or make the numbers fit your narrative. It doesn't work that way. Like, because how did we say it that one time? It's funny how you look at a medical study and you see the bullet point at the top, You go down to the charts and the numbers, and then you put the two together without actually reading the body of the study, right? Like that's wild to me. Welcome in, Phoebe, by the way. Sorry.
Welcome in, Phoebes.
Good to see ya. Is it
muted.
working? Did you get it hooked up?
Now mute yourself on TikTok.
Tap, tap.
Okay, I have to
There
press
you
it
go.
more than once. Does it sound good?
It works.
No, you sound
great.
so good. Yeah.
I didn't even like check with anybody about any of the settings yet. So
Yeah.
yay sales.
Allie coming in clutch with the audio engineering on a budget.
Right?
But and I want to turn this next point of the discussion, since Phoebe provided me the link inside, or actually provided all of us in the Discord with regards to what we're talking about tonight. I really feel like Phoebe is really going to be able to drive this point home from last week's episode. So Phoebe, I'm going to turn it over to you. Can you explain a little bit better about VAERS and the things that are important with regards to that?
Yeah, so when it comes to things like VAERS, anybody can make a report. So if a random person's making a report, then we're not also getting the information leading up to that incident, which has also led to people thinking that there's a causation correlation with stuff. Like someone could get a vaccine and then they trip and sprain their ankle, and now somehow that has been reported as that vaccine causes sprained ankles. And people can see this information online, but they don't see anything that happened in the middle. And because anyone can report it, people will report ridiculous things. At one point, someone reported they turned into the Hulk. That eventually got taken down. But then
I think I missed that vaccine.
I know.
That would have been dope.
Where's my 5G? That's always with me. Sometimes my phone doesn't have it. It makes me sad.
Wow.
But then you have people that will collect that data and make another site to put that data on. And then they try and interpret it. And I found a website like this by someone who works with data, but they aren't a medical person. And when I saw this site and I was looking, I'm like, who's collecting all this data? And then I went down and to the About Me to see who made the website. And the person's like, I'm just a civilian who does not work in the medical field, but I do data collection. So then how is someone supposed to interpret this data? It's just kind of provided to them with no context.
Yeah, well, you could look at like with the RFK and Tylenol garbage, right? They went into that study, looked at the headline, right? And then didn't bother to read that just because they happened to take acetaminophen while pregnant, every single doctor said that should not be taken as the cause of autism. Like, just because they took it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean it's the leading cause of autism all of a sudden.
And that loops back to how when studies are done for medication and when it comes to reporting possible side effects, if you are a participant and you have something out of what they would consider normal for you, they have to report it. So that's why on a lot of medications you'll see like may cause vomiting or diarrhea. Well, at some point, someone on the study had vomiting and diarrhea. It could have been one person. They have to report it.
Yeah, and people don't understand that whenever it comes to medications is that when you report that in a study, You can have one person that they were unaware of that had cancer, may cause cancer now. And it's okay, this is not going to truly cause this to happen, but because we've had one in like however hundreds that they took for the study that had it, well, because the one outlier, they now have to throw that in there. And it's wild that people think that, well, this said that it may cause cancer. No, that's not necessarily the case.
And this is why, when you take any medication or have any procedure, you need to have a thorough discussion with your medical provider who knows your history.
True story.
Yeah, it's important that we get into, and that's what's funny. Like, not funny, haha, but funny in an ironic way is there, and I've been doing TikTok lives and discussion points, I guess debate, if that perspective is how you want to describe it, for over 2 years now. And the most common thing that I've witnessed lately have been just these individuals that think that they're knowledgeable about whatever the topic is or the science that's behind it. And what frustrates me is the first thing out of their mouth is because it's common sense. I hate that answer more than I can tell you in like all preparedness. Common sense means that it applies to the masses. That means more than 94.6 statistically of the massive population has to support your stance or your answer. And when they think it's just common sense, and we're bringing in actual statistical reporting, we're bringing in factual studies, we're taking a look at things like, as an example, when we're talking about violence, right? That was a discussion that we brought up a report in, and when I said, look at the sources, look at the statistic data that's on FBI CDE, and then like the violenceproject.org. All of those metrics are there. That's a form of statistical reporting. And there are aspects, if you dig down inside that talk about the psychology, which is the science. You can understand what the behavioral patterns are that they're observing in these individuals. And it becomes disheartening because the only piece that they think is applicable is common sense. And to me, I'm like, it's not common sense unless everybody, well, a majority, more than 90% of the whole entire population ascribes to the same position. Why is somebody... Wait, what? Who's ringing my door and why? Okay, hold on, doggos. Yes, I hear you.
They said, "What's up? How are you?"
Right? For sure.
Right?
Who's standing at my... Okay.
I'm
There's nobody
sitting
there.
here. I'm sitting here reading an intersex study journal from the NIH, and it's so awesome. The new findings that they have are amazing.
Well, I mean, last week I briefly touched on. I'm going to go on ahead real quick and take this while Allie's taking care of the doorbell situation there.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
All right. I briefly touched on asking questions while you're reading these different studies, and I'm going to reference this from NIH. It's going to be PMID 327-30251, and they actually have an entire list of rules, 10 different rules. And rule one is picking your reading goal and going through and understanding what you're trying to get out of that. Rule 2 is going to be understand the author's goal, where you look and see what the author is trying to obtain from what they're doing the study about. 3, there are 6 questions that must be asked during the process. 1, what do the authors want to know? What is their motivation? Second question, what did they do? What was their approach, methods, stuff like that? 3, why was it done that way for the sort of context? 4, crap, where'd I go? 4, what do the results show? Figures, data tables, etc. 5, how do the authors interpret the results and different discussions? 6, what should be done next? Regarding the last question, the authors may provide some suggestions and discussion, but the key is to ask yourself, what do you think should come next? So that was rule 3. 4, unpack each figure and table. Basically, go sit down and take the time to go over every figure, every table that's in a discussion or in a PMID. Understand and the formatting intentions. As my wife had already mentioned, read what they're trying to do first and then go back and read the body. Be critical. Come at it with an open mind. Like, it's that simple, y'all.
Right. And not only be critical about it, engage in complex conversations and questioning the data that you're reading with your primary care physician or wherever you're partaking in a medical study, right? Ask questions. Phoebe and I and Stacy and Jedi were all talking about this not too long ago. And I believe I was driving or something of that nature. And we had some aspect, or maybe it was in the episode, I can't recall, but it was like, there's a multitude of things that go on in order to get through the screening, as Phoebe mentioned in last week's episode. Questions and things that change within you know, if this changes, you have to report it. If that changes, you have to report it. And I think people don't realize how thorough the requirements are for going into stuff like that with regards to, you know, medical studies and studies in general, right? Like they want to make sure that the control group is correct. They want to make sure that the test individuals or test subjects are in the correct demographic and physiological, if it's in regards to that. I mean, the number of variables are so large. It's not just this like, oh, and I think that that's what happens. I think that that's where the misinformation on when we get into these debates, if I'm being so honest, I feel like the interpretation of when we bring up medical studies and we're talking about it as our counter arguments to their arguments is often the correlation that it's no different than just sending out a survey, like a Gallup poll, right? Like I feel like that's the way they view it when they argue it. They're like, oh, so you surveyed 125,000 people and they all said that they like caterpillars, but only 25% of them said that they like butterflies. So yeah, it's just a survey. No, it's way more deep than that. It's way more complex. It's not a simple perspective. I don't, you know, it's wild the effect that we have with regards to making sure that we can provide what we call causation in these discussion topics. And I often find myself going back and trying to reference, and this kind of segues into my next concern with regards to this, is not only how we utilize it, as we've touched on and talked about tonight, is the censorship that's going on. I have been going back and trying to pull some of the reports that I used a year and a half ago that I've bookmarked and I've downloaded, and they were on the NIH, and I had access to them for a long time. And I go back and I try and pull them, and I'm getting not found, no longer available, or gate kept, meaning I have to log in, create an account, and then I have to provide some kind of educational credentials that say, or medical credentials saying that I'm authorized to look at this information. And I feel like that type of censorship is what's going to destroy a lot of the aspects of our society. And I feel like that's alarming. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are.
I personally, I don't disagree. I mean, it's alarming to the fact that we have to now, when we're trying to look at different studies or anything of that nature, have to have a login code just to even look at it. I thought these were supposed to be open to the public at any and all times. I mean, one of the other hosts here can correct me on that.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, but with the new regime that's in power right now, they don't want truth to come out. They don't want actual knowledge base, right? So George Carlin said it best. The government doesn't want the masses to be educated because then the education in those masses will fight back, right? And so when we talk about studies used to be able to find, you're not going to find them. Just like they thought nobody would find the study that was on acetaminophen. And it took my wife all of 2 minutes to find it because most people aren't going to sit and read it, right? They just read the headlines, like we said. So when we talk about the NIH, it's been taken over by madmen with no medical background, and they're hiding facts. I had this conversation earlier today with people trying to tell me that I was not both as an intersex person who has a female and male condition. Excuse me, what? You know more than my doctors do, than the researchers, people who have studied me. You know more than I do, and more than they do? Awesome, where's your degree? And I think that's the biggest problem. The internet has been a blessing and a curse. Everybody thinks they're an expert because they Googled something and their algorithm in that Google popped up something that they think is real without actually going to the source of what that Google is talking about and finding out what it actually says. It's like this discussion about what's a woman. You could pull up 5 million, that's cool. You could pull up 5 million different versions of what a woman is. But what it all boils down to is someone's lived experience. Just like I could never tell a man what a man is. It's your own lived experience. Nobody argues about the sex of a person, right? We all know this. No one's arguing about that. But when it comes to things that are quantifiable, it's just wild at the misinformation and the lack thereof that information that has happened over the past, I don't know, maybe 15 years?
Yeah, relatively.
Yeah.
AJ said it best down there. Everyone has an internet PhD. Yep. Amen to that. Amen to that. And I'm going to say this is just my own public opinion in regards to this. Just because you Google or you use Grok or ChatGPT or you have AI PRM, which is an integration of 4 or 5 different AI algorithms in your browser, AI is only as intelligent as what the information that's being coded by the human into it, right? Or the information that it's being able to pull from different places and has to formulate the most logical answer that it's giving, okay? So, like Jedi has said, Stacy said, and Phoebe has said a multitude of times, do the due diligence. Don't just take what the prompt is telling you and it's spit out. And anybody can parrot that bullshit, right? Do some fact checking. Dig down where that answer came from. Yeah, it's okay in a lot of different ways to say, okay, I used Grok, or okay, I used this to take a look at it. That's fine. But dig into where it pulled it from. Find out where the source is, and then go to the root of that information to understand where the explanation or the justification is. Like, I think one of my biggest fears is like AI is going to not just replace some of the engineering and coding jobs. I get this scary feeling that it's also going to replace some of the consistency control systems too, like legally. You know what I mean? Lawyers are going to start getting replaced by AI that can remember and memorize all of legal jargon, right? And lawyers and depositions and prosecuting attorneys aren't going to show up into court anymore. You're just going to have
Right.
Who's the prosecuting attorney for the accused?
ChatGPT.
Yeah, this is Grok 4.2.
And my wife,
Public
literally
Defender
just said
Siri.
it best. And
Right.
any kind of search, garbage in, garbage out.
Right. They take what AI as law or something. Yes, KT, that's correct. Yeah, and AJ, the easiest way to control the masses, keep people in fear and keep them uneducated. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It is crazy.
Yeah. This study I'm reading is crazy. Have y'all looked at that study I just sent you guys? Probably not.
I have not yet.
Oh, it's so good. So they did a study, and
Oh, 10
basic.
simple rules. I've seen this
So,
one.
so basically, what I sent you guys was a mass publication of every intersex study that has been done since 2013. And it is absolutely awesome. 3 of those I was in. And I'm just sitting here looking at them going, wow, somebody put them all together. What they're seeing since 2013 is that 1 in 300 are intersex. And they're further finding that more Americans, North Americans, so Canadians as well, have more intersex conditions than any place in the world.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like
It's wild.
I'm beginning to believe the more stuff that I read about different variation in genetic coding and activations between the autonomic and the allosomic genes between 45th and 46th. It's starting to make a lot more sense scientifically in the understanding that I think that the population is a lot larger, more intersex than we actually are aware of. And I am going to hope, on the basis of science, as a human that loves science, I'm going to hope that we advance technology and we advance the compute power that's required to do this kind of stuff so that it drives down the cost, right? Like, in a comparison, just for people that understand, like, karyotyping is a costly thing. It does not come easy. It does not come inexpensively. Most insurances don't cover it. Some situations it does, and that's wonderful. And we love people that have the ability to do that. But we need to figure out technological advancements in order to drive down the cost, because I think a lot of people really want more answers than what we know is out there. And the correlative or analogous comparison that I would bring to it is theoretical physicists, material physicists, and systematic physicists all gathered together in like 2008, 2009 to understand the principles of atoms and wanting to learn black hole theory and understanding proportionates within, the relativity of physics. So with that advancement and the amount of people that decided to get involved, that's where we developed spending, billions of dollars in creating the Hadron Collider? That's the same kind of initiative that we should be pushing towards the medical advancements, right? Not just cancer studies, not leukemia, not just AIDS, not just children's cancers, all of these different things. I'm actually wearing a cancer t-shirt right now. One of my best friends from work passed away 2 years ago due to colon cancer. I think that all advancements in trying to absolve the human species from these really, really dangerous and shitty diseases is a great thing that we should be doing. We should be advancing medicine in regards to that and using medical studies like this that we're talking about right here, that we advocate for, right? Use that information to substantiate the reason of why we need this. And with that, we are going to create and pave a way for the advancement of understanding other different things that need to have research done, whether it's into this perspective. I think we're on the very, very forefront of gender and sex and diversity and inclusion within the whole entire world, right? Like, yes, it's creating a fire around us, right? Like, we see that every day. But that kind of movement is going to spurge in educated people to want to get involved and want to understand it more conclusively, I think. Phoebe, do you have any points? Awfully quiet over there today.
I am quiet over here. I really wish people would care more about doing these medical advances. Like, the more information we have, the more we can help people before any sort of major problems occur, right? Even if it's just like information for people to make like minor changes in their daily life would be so helpful for everybody.
Yeah, and for me, I would say that the United States used to be about medical advances, scientific advances, and I think we've gotten so caught up in letting machines do the work for us. Right? When we were kids, we had to look things up in the Encyclopedia Britannica and read like a ridiculously long information about something you just wanted to know two things about, right? And so and so as we got older, right? I think I was in high school when the internet finally became like available to everybody, like my senior year. And even then it was like dial up. But we never thought it would get to this point, right? So now we're like, oh, yay, AI. Now we don't have to think for ourselves again. And it's like, come on. This is the problem with our country right now is that nobody does the actual brain work to think for themselves. They have someone else telling them what to think, what to feel, what to eat, what to engage with.
Right.
I just don't understand where we lost humanity in humanity. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like that entitlement of laziness, right? Like as more things became more available to us, people started to take that initiative and drive for granted, right? Like you used to see that the internet was a tool that provided us the ability to search multitudes of information at lightning fast speeds. And then that allowed like this co-collaboration of not only intelligence from the person that was researching, right? But it gave them something to fall back on and be like, look, this is where I found it. This is where the source was. This is what we can do, right? And this cohabitation of equivalence was established within, this aspect of what we talk about and people talk about or people research. And that was great. And then we get to where we are now and we're going back to exactly what you were saying, Jedi. It's like, I don't really have the drive to really want to look at this. I'm just going to input a prompt in here. And then if I don't like the results, I'll just change the prompt. So much so that the prompt just goes and goes and goes till the point, instead of it only being 4 words that gives you some of the results, you've now got a whole entire paragraph in there. And it's spitting out every kind of thing, like literal internet vomit to you. And you have to pick through all of it and determine what's right and what's wrong. And most people don't want to decipher. Like, I don't know, Corey and I had this discussion. I know it's not really related, but since we're talking about the advancements of technology and the aspect of research and AI, recently EA got bought out by a Saudi Arabian investment firm and Jordan Hirsch, which was, or Jaden Jordan or something like that. Anywho, these people came together, and there's a lot of concern with the invocation of AI into game developing, and what does that mean for people who currently purchase EA games, whether that's like FIFA, Madden, NBA 2K, hell, even myself and a lot of us around here, Battlefield and the next titles that are coming out, people like my wife in Sims, right? What does that mean for these people that have dumped hundreds and thousands of dollars into these games? What does it matter to them in regards to where do we go from here? And a point of contention that was often brought up, or has been brought up in just some of the recent reports, was what happens if they start doing with the intervention and introduction of AI into the coding? What happens to these design studios? Are these people who have creative thinking going to be shoved out the door because AI created something that looked real? I'm not going to lie to you. I've seen some really good, interesting AI things, but I've also seen some really terrifying shit. People type in these weird prompts, and I watch a human morph into a beer can and then morphs into a bowl of oatmeal. And I'm just like, who created this prompt and made it look so real? And then why is this even content? Like, why are we doing things like this? But like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
For me, the scary part of AI is we keep saying we want to make things here in the United States, but it's not feasible anymore because other countries are so technologically advanced past us because we sold off all of our goods.
Yeah.
We don't make anything in the United States anymore. It's all been sold off for a lower cost, so these billionaires can make more billions. Meanwhile, you've got people who forgot about the trades. How many shoe cobblers do you see anymore?
0.
Yeah. Very rare, right? And it's
But I think
because
maybe one.
we've become a society where if your shoes were out, you just throw them away and get a new pair, which is wild to me. Why are we falling prey, right, to this kind of ridiculousness? There's no tradesmen anymore. They started pushing, I'd say probably in the 70s, they started pushing go to college, go to college, go to college, go to college. Got to go to university, got to go to university. No. Like
no,
with my
no, they're not doing any of that.
no, now with my stepdaughters, their high school started pushing trade schools and certificate schools because you can't preach about infrastructure and building things in the United States when nobody knows how to fucking build it.
Right.
Right. And that's part of the problem with today is we were pushing that so hard, even through whatever I was coming through high school, was go to college, go to college, go to college. And all of a sudden, you're looking at even my own industry, the trucking industry. We're 10,000 drivers shy of where we need to be right now. And it's literally, we're seeing this not just in my industry, but across the board, plumbing, electricians, the whole 9 yards. And it's like we forgot about the main person. We forgot about the one group of people that we truly need to help keep this country going.
Agreed.
And that's our electricians, our plumbers, our basic repair guy.
Right.
And we're over here going, well, who do I call? Because plumber down the road just went out of business.
Right. The generation is changing the drive and the energy that's required to put in hard work and not be appreciative of having a work drive that shows results because you accomplished something. It's that sense of entitlement, which is wild. We're coming up on 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do a point here real quick. I was just thinking about it. I think it's because, in our parents' day and age, and before that, things were feasible, right? Houses were feasible, cars were feasible, a future was feasible, right? You could see the end goal. Now, even with our generation, I don't see an end goal. I feel like I'm going to work probably until the day I unalive. And it's sad. And people even younger than me, like my sister's age and like my brother's age and their kids' age, what drive do they have? What do they have to look forward to? I mean, they just don't have anything really to look forward to because things are just getting more expensive. Wages aren't changing. Healthcare is getting more expensive in turmoil. The government's failing us. Like, what do they have to look forward to?
Yep. Thank you, everybody. First and foremost, really quick before we get into this, because we are winding up on the top of the hour. Thanks for all the gifts to everybody on that has given to the panel and given to the live. I do appreciate it. You guys are over here crushing it. We're at 36,000 likes already. We've had 12 major gifters. Thank you so much. You guys didn't have to do it like that. You guys always come through and clutch and show the amount of love and support. So thank you for doing that. But yeah, I keep setting up goals and I keep getting notifications that it's been expired. Like I can't keep up. and then like the gift goal changes, and like I'm like I'll set it up, and I get 3,000, gone over 300. Now I got to do it again. I'm like, okay, love it, but thank you. It's like, look at see, there it goes again.
And I actually want to address one of the comments there from Brett. This generation's lazy. I'm not going to sit here and say this generation's lazy. We have all fallen into the complex of, well, the next generation is just going to be lazy because they didn't work as hard as we did. No, it's the fact of they know their value, they know their self-worth. Like I remember coming up and going, I'm not working for $5 a freaking hour. You can't pay me enough to work for $5. No, like. When we sit back and we look at the price of things, where it comes from food to housing to cars to whatever it is you may want, you look at the bare minimum wage here in the United States that hadn't been raised since what, 2009? I think the last time.
I think before that, because it's still at like 7.43 or something.
Yeah, it's still at $7.50 an hour, $7.25 an hour, somewhere in there.
It's wildly egregious.
Yeah, right, and like it's asinine to sit there and say, well, if you live in say Alabama, for instance, or Georgia or wherever, they still do that. Then it's hard for those people in that area to try to make a living and to get out of a financial burden that they are already under. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, no, they're lazy, because no, they're not. They know their self-worth. They know what the economy is looking like. We're teaching these kids to be who they really are and to not take less than what they're worth. Holy crap. Y'all keep knocking out these goals.
It just keeps. I'm watching so I've got the chat over here on the right, and then I've got the main live over the studio right here, and it just keeps coming in and coming in. I'm just like, I'm gonna stop arguing at this point.
I love it.
Right?
I'm always pointing out to people, especially when they want to talk about like the cost of things. Like my son can't have gluten, and a loaf of gluten-free bread is more than minimum wage.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's crazy. We are coming up on the top of the hour. What we normally do. The last 10-15 minutes. I'm not ending just yet, because we usually do like 10 or 15 minutes of like Q&A and people to ask questions, because I like to have that engagement. We always said thanks for everything that you guys do, all the love and the support you show every time. We are so happy to see you come out here and show this love, the gifts that you've shown to the panel, myself, and to other individuals. 37,000 likes. We're hitting that same number like we did last 2 episodes, because this is number 3. We were at, we're right in that same mark, like 38 to 48,000 likes. That's impressive. Oh, look at that one. That one's really pretty. It's a Jedi Rising.
Wow.
That was really pretty.
Thank you, Britt.
Thank you guys so much. But we are going to turn over the next 15 minutes. I'm going to run it a little bit longer, up to 7:15 tonight. We're going to do a Q&A session from here until then. And before we start the Q&A, and the people that want to talk and ask your questions, how we do it is, if you have a genuine question about the topic or something that we have been speaking about, type it in the comments down below. One of our active moderators or staff team will watch, and then we'll answer it. And for those of you individuals who didn't get a chance to listen to the live, we are on Apple Podcasts, we are on Spotify Podcasts, and YouTube Podcasts. Every one of us, I do believe, has a link in our link tree to those links. So go ahead, click our profiles, hit the link tree, go down, subscribe to whatever one you want, do a follow, and you'll automatically get updated every time we launch an episode. We finish this recording usually at 7 to 7:15 Mountain Time, 8 to 8:15 Central, 9 to 9:15 Eastern, and then I usually spend the next 12 to 24 hours going through and mastering it down, and I will have it published up after that. So usually by the end of the weekend is when you'll see the episode. So yeah, the 4 of us are gonna turn over essentially the next 15 minutes to anyone and everyone that's in the comments section down there that are watching. Thank you all. Ask a question. If you have a question, feel free. We'll try and answer it the best we can.
Please remember that this is going on YouTube, so be respectful.
Yeah,
Yes.
I know. I saw a gift goal. It's up there again. Yep, there it is. Look at that. I'm like 2 away
Now,
from.
wait,
It's wild.
I have one problem here, though.
What's
We
that?
got Phoebe lower than Jedi whenever it comes to coins now, damn it. We need to have that flipped around. Y'all pull a damn Miss Sandry here and get Phoebe and myself above Jedi.
The competitiveness between this is so wonderful to watch. What do we have here? And I'm going to tell you, so all of you, while we're waiting for some questions, if you have questions down there or comments that you want us to talk about, we are moving over. At the beginning of the podcast, I let out this announcement. Next episode, we are going to be moving over to EVMux, which is a podcast platform. It's an actual platform. It allows us to run everybody in an equal square and have the same kind of engagement, but it goes up to the actual podcast channel, meaning I don't have to master it after the fact. I can just let it go, and then the other services will reach down and grab that and then make it live there. So next Friday we'll be on YouTube, and it'll be under YouTube's podcasts, and I have already got the technology all set up so that it'll go. And I think, Phoebe, you weren't here for this part of it, but the plan is we're going to do a test on Wednesday, just to make sure that it works. And
She's
She's
an
got practice
athlete
Wednesday.
on Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm an athlete on Wednesday, and
That's
remember,
fine.
I'm playing in that special tournament next week, so I definitely won't be here.
no, it's
And
okay. I mean,
Remember that me and Christina will be in Denver.
okay. Well, even if it's
it'll be
just
just me and
me,
you.
yeah, even if it's just me, I'm just going to run a test.
I mean, I
anyways.
could still hop on. I just
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
have my mic.
Yeah, no worries. I just, if we ask anything of med studies, correct? Yeah, I mean, Britt, you can ask other questions. So we don't, in our podcast, we don't limit just the questions to our topic at that time, right? Like, there's graceful interaction that can evolve from questions that are outside of the realm of the topic, right? Like,
Right.
that's how the organicness of podcasts should be, is sometimes you have to think outside the box and come back in. So, yeah, we'll do the test on Wednesday, and I'll do it. If I have to do it solo, I'll do it solo. But
No, I'll be here. I have nothing to do, Allie. You know right
Yeah.
where I'm going to be sitting.
fair. My plan is to, and if we don't, it doesn't look like we have any questions just yet. But the big reason for this push is if we want this podcast to be really successful, I don't want to be restricted by how the future. Yeah, I saw that from Anodi, and I will definitely. I don't want to be restricted by TikTok and whether the purchase happens and the new team terms of service goes through and who has the control of the algorithm and the data and where it goes. I want to control the content, the four of us, so that the message gets out there to the audience that it's intended to, not because it's being silenced or shadow banned or anything like that. I don't want any of that. And I feel like the only way that we're going to be able to do that, even with all these restrictions to come in, is if we move to another platform. And all we're asking is that you follow us over there. That we're not requiring, we're not charging you or anything like that. There's no subscriptions. Just come show some love.
It's literally go straight to YouTube.
Yep. It just goes straight to YouTube. Okay, the difference between causation and correlation. Okay, well, let me pull up some of the information I have.
That's one for you, Allie. Can I make a suggestion since I go on vacation next week? Can we do the podcast on Saturday when we're not at a park?
I mean, I imagine we probably could do it on that
Okay.
Saturday instead of Friday. I mean,
Is that okay with my co-host? Because
Yeah, fine with me.
Friday I'm going to be at Disney and I am not stopping what I'm doing to do a podcast.
Jedi on the
Live from Disney.
Jedi on the spinning
I
teacup.
just won't be here. I'll be struggling to survive at that tournament, so
All right.
Be on
You got
Rise
this,
of the
baby.
Resistance.
Hey, you have the entire backing of the following and us here on the panel. You know you got this.
Next week.
Right. So.
Oh yeah,
Enodian-
I'll share the stream when I find it and tell you
Okay.
what time I play.
Right. Enodian asked a question, what's the difference between correlation and causation? So correlation is a relationship how two variables change together or apart from one another, and give you an understanding of the dependency between two different variables, whether, this changed, now does this change or does this not change? That's what correlation is. Causation is a understanding of how a variable of an instance was a direct effect, meaning so because this happened, and there was no other result, right? Like that's how causation works. Because X did this, Y was the result. Correlation means that because this happened, this changed, and this changed, and they all correlate to one another, meaning they all prove a supporting end result to whatever the final result was. You'll hear me say that from time to time when I debate with the regards to can be something an objective fact that proves your causation. Those things are all synonymous. Objective fact can't be changed over time, proven through medicine, science, and mathematics. That's causation. Give me correlation would be something that I would say, give me some subjective truth and the correlation behind it. Because subjective truth is based on correlative data, correlative information. We know something is subjectively true because the correlative information that supports it could have objective fact. It doesn't always have objective fact, but could. And that's how it's a subjective truth. We don't know 100% that one statement is factual. It's just true because other things around it. Will there be a link for sources used during the podcast so everyone
Yes.
can read them? Yeah, we're going to start publishing that stuff. I'm working on the Discord to have that. I think we already actually do. We've got a thing called sources
Yes,
and
there is.
resources. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, there is a page for everything that we can publish on there.
Yep, you'll see stuff go in there. We're going to start developing up, and I'm going to be linking in and working with. I did get some permission, Stacy, from our wonderful Dr. Gelbel and Alex to co-link between the two Discords.
Oh, yeah.
So
Nice.
I can go in and I can copy the source link, go into our Discord and say destination link. And what will happen is if they click on it, it will automatically invite them into Gels and give them viewer access, not member access of the Discord. It just lets them read it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and then Scream, I think you're the one that's also intersex or believed to be intersex. If you join our Discord, I'll go ahead and put those intersex or have Allie. I sent them to Allie, technically to the group. I will have them put that in the links as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got it. Okay. I'll make sure I do that. No. Bestie just said something in the Discord that made me giggle. About Dagobah. Doggone you, doggo.
Doggy diapers.
Oh, my
Doggy
God.
diapers.
Hey. You leave my dog alone.
Hey, it prevents that.
He's an old man like me.
Yeah, and he likes that young,
That's
fresh.
okay. Rocky's old like me too. Okay.
He likes that young, fresh Arwen up there.
Yeah, he does.
All right, we got 5 more minutes. Are there any more people that have any sorry, I'm doing adaptive learning with my kid. I'll send my question over later. That's fine, Britt. No worries. Hello, Ken's. Welcome in, by the way, too.
No. So, because Jedi being intersex, did you know that they believe that people who have hernias early on in age could potentially be intersex?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I read something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a study that believes that if you have inguinal hernias as a male, there is the possibility of being intersex.
Oh, so inguinal
And they're wanting
versus
to look further
hiatal.
Yeah, down nutsack.
Yeah. Down in your sack. In the goods.
Enodian writes, Allison, your gift goal said that you would sing if we met it. Oh, goodness gracious.
Oh, sweet
Uh-oh.
Lord.
Uh-oh.
We could do a throwback.
One of the points of the study that I was reading that I sent all of you is they're starting The new number is 1.7% to 4%
Oh wow. Oh wow.
of intersex now.
Should-
And that's just the ones they could actually karyotype.
Should we give them the throwback from back in March?
Go for it.
You know which one I'm talking about, don't you?
Do
Yep.
All right, for those
Go
of you who
for
are
it.
not around back in March and April when this happened, we had an individual that claimed that women only had one hole, and another guy came on and said that women only had two holes. And I created a song, and it kind of goes a little bit like this since I'm at the gift goal. So here you go. Actually, I gotta find it. Today we're gonna learn about biology with one whole Wendy. We got two whole Theo and all his friends. We don't understand where we read with a lens. It's a little blind, I'm a little dumb. Women only have one hole for thumbs. Maybe fingers. I'm talking about backyard biology with one whole Wendy and two whole Theo. Thank you.
Ah, that was great.
It's been a while since that one happened.
Oh, goodness. My favorite still was the one that said that you pee out of your clitoris.
Oh, I know. That was
Right.
wild.
And 16 hole.
Yeah, the 16 hole.
Oh, my favorite
But-
was the 6 holes where they tried to name them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
He was like,
That's on my. That's literally on my or on my page.
that's crazy.
I went and clipped that shit.
That's wild.
All right. Well, as we know that we are on the top of the final point of today's podcast, welcome or thank you once again for tuning in to Hot Take News with myself, Allison, my lovely hosts, Jedi, Phoebe, and Stacy. We want to thank you all again once from the bottom of our heart. I'm going to turn on the sign-offs to the rest of them. Stay tuned for us. Watch for the publications going into the numerous different streaming services we have. And then make sure you tune in next week to the YouTube channel where we're going to go live there. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the Friday evening. You have a fantastic weekend. Tell somebody you love them. And I'm going to sign off. I'm Allison. Thank you for listening. That's Hot Take News.
Remember to be kind, everybody. Remember you are enough. And have a great weekend.
Stay hydrated and say something kind about yourself and do something nice for someone.
Always remember to take care of yourself, take care of each other, and love each other, because you don't know what's coming around the corner right now with the way the world's going. So please be kind to each other. Love y'all, and I will see y'all in the next one.